Hello, welcome to Learn English with Technology podcast series. Today, we're going to dive into something really interesting.
Okay.
Using Amazon's Alexa to learn English.
Oh, wow.
Might sound a little unusual,
Yeah.
but this deep dive is all about exploring those kind of unconventional learning methods.
Right.
And you might be surprised how effective they can be.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to think about how technology is being adapted for learning in new ways.
Yeah.
And it's like you can turn everyday routines into these opportunities for practice.
Totally.
Like you can imagine working on your pronunciation while you're making your morning coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or turning your commute into like a mobile classroom.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And we're looking at that very idea today,
Yeah.
looking at the experiences of a podcast host who actually tried this out.
Wow.
They documented their whole 30-day experiment of using Alexa as their English teacher.
Oh, wow.
This was in episode 1 of the Learn English with Technology podcast.
Okay.
We unpack their journey
Right.
and the insights they gained.
What I think is really interesting is they started off kind of with a common frustration a lot of language learners experience, where they found traditional methods like textbooks and language apps to be kind of either too dry or too distracting or just not fitting into a busy schedule. So this kind of sparked this quest for a more engaging and personalized approach.
So what was their aha moment?
Right.
How did they land on Alexa as a language tutor?
It seems like it started with a late-night internet deep dive.
Okay.
They discovered this video of someone having like a natural flowing conversation with their AI assistant. And that sparked a realization, oh, these devices that are becoming so commonplace in our lives, these could actually be tapped into as like personalized language tutors.
Like having a teacher available 24/7.
Right.
Who's always patient and never judges your mistakes.
Right.
But going from that realization to actually using Alexa as a language learning tool, that must have taken some planning.
Absolutely. They didn't just kind of jump into it.
Right.
They made some strategic choices right from the start.
Uh-huh.
They opted for the Echo Show to get that visual feedback.
Yeah.
And they actually set up a dedicated learning environment in their living room.
So they weren't just casually chatting with Alexa.
No,
This was a much more intentional approach.
Exactly. They took time to select specific Alexa skills tailored to their language learning needs and actually structured their learning.
Interesting.
They created a detailed daily schedule with themed practice sessions.
Themed practice sessions.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
They had these creative names for each session.
Okay.
They started their day with morning mumbles. That was to warm up their pronunciation. And then that was followed by vocabulary breakfast.
Oh, wow.
Where they would kind of discuss what they were eating with Alexa.
Okay.
And they even used their commute for what they called podcast paradise.
So they were really weaving English practice into their existing routine.
Yes. And this continued throughout the day.
Oh, wow.
During lunch breaks,
Yeah.
they had these sandwich sessions
Right.
where they would choose a specific topic to learn and discuss with Alexa.
Wow.
And then to combat that afternoon slump, they even had a grammar gaming hour
Okay.
where they would play interactive language games.
It sounds like they're very committed to this experiment.
They were. Evenings were dedicated to couch culture time, where they would discuss current events and pop culture with Alexa.
Right.
And then on the weekends, they'd have Alexa office hours.
Wow. But how did they measure their progress?
Right.
Were they just relying on their own perception of improvement?
They went beyond just feeling like they were improving.
Okay.
They developed this whole system of really unconventional and often humorous ways to track their progress. They kept a pronunciation portfolio with daily recordings to monitor how their pronunciation was evolving.
Right.
A conversation complexity counter.
Oh, wow.
To track how much they could say in a single breath.
That's incredible.
And even a dream language detector to see if they started dreaming in English.
That's so creative. It sounds like they were really motivated to track their progress in tangible ways.
They were.
But I imagine there must have been some challenges along the way.
Definitely.
I mean, using a technology that isn't specifically designed for language learning in this way.
Right. They definitely hit a few roadblocks.
Right.
But what's interesting is how they approach these challenges with this problem-solving mindset and actually use them as learning opportunities. Okay.
So, for example, they encountered this morning mumble crisis.
A morning mumble crisis.
Yeah, where Alexa was struggling to understand them when they were just waking up and their pronunciation was a bit unclear.
That's so relatable. I've definitely had those moments where I can barely understand myself in the morning.
Right.
So how did they overcome this morning mumble crisis?
Their solution was quite ingenious.
Okay.
They started doing a pre-Alexa warm-up routine using tongue twisters.
Oh, wow.
To get their speech muscles working properly before they even started their session with Alexa.
It's such a great example of turning a negative into a positive. And this whole experiment, this wasn't just a solitary endeavor, was it?
No.
They actually managed to get other people involved.
It's amazing how it kind of became a social thing.
Oh, wow.
They got their friends and family involved.
Okay.
Asking them to chat with Alexa.
Yeah.
And give them feedback on their progress. And they even built like an online community around their journey, connecting with other language learners who were kind of interested in trying this out.
That's incredible. It highlights how sharing your learning journey can not only enhance your own experience, but also inspire and motivate others.
Exactly.
It's a great reminder that learning doesn't have to be a solitary pursuit.
Right.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty of the technical side of things.
Okay.
How did they actually go about setting this whole system up?
Right.
It sounds like they were building a custom language learning environment.
They definitely took a DIY approach to creating their ideal setup.
Okay.
So they started by exploring this vast world of Alexa skills.
Right.
Spending a good amount of time testing out different vocabulary builders, conversation simulators, and pronunciation tools.
Right.
It was like speed gating for language learning apps.
I can imagine that being a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But also exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they were on a treasure hunt. For the perfect combination of tools.
They were, and one of their early breakthroughs was discovering they could adjust Alexa's speaking speed.
That's a great tip.
Right, especially in the beginning when they were still getting used to understanding spoken English.
Right.
They even started experimenting with faster speeds as a challenge to push their listening comprehension further.
Did they encounter any challenges with the audio environment itself?
Yeah.
I mean, Alexa's known for being pretty sensitive to background noise.
They did run into a few issues with that.
Okay.
Alexa's microphone would sometimes pick up those background noises and kind of integrate them into the lessons.
I bet that led to some amusing moments.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
To address this, they experimented with different microphone placements. And even created what they called a cone of silence.
Oh, my goodness.
Using strategically placed pillows to muffle any unwanted sounds.
I love that visual. Their living room turned into a language learning fort.
Right.
But they weren't limited to just practicing English at home at their language learning fort.
Exactly. That's where the beauty of Alexa's connectivity comes in.
Okay.
They synced Alexa with their phone, which meant their learning could continue even when they were out and about.
That's great.
They set up the Alexa app to send them daily vocabulary reminders, pronunciation tips, even progress reports.
That's a great way to keep that learning momentum going throughout the day.
Exactly.
It sounds like they were really taking advantage of Alexa's versatility.
They were.
And customization features.
Yeah.
But did they ever feel stuck for conversation topics?
They did.
Or unsure what to talk about with Alexa?
They had those moments where they would kind of draw a blank.
Right.
Especially early on.
So they came up with this rather unique solution.
Okay.
An emergency English button.
An emergency English button? What in the world is that?
They programmed a routine that was triggered by tapping an Amazon Echo button.
Okay.
And whenever they were feeling stuck, they could just tap the button and it would immediately launch into a random conversation topic.
Oh, wow.
Giving them a starting point. For a discussion with Alexa.
That's so clever. It's like having a conversation starter on demand.
Right.
Though I can imagine that leading to some pretty amusing situations.
Yeah.
Especially if that random topic generator landed on something unexpected in the middle of a public space.
Oh, I'm sure there were a few of those awkward but hilarious moments.
Yeah.
But it speaks to their willingness to experiment and find creative solutions to keep that learning journey engaging and fun.
They also found a clever way to track their progress over time by connecting Alexa to their smart home system.
Right.
And recording their conversations.
Exactly.
That's an interesting approach. It would be like having a replay feature for their language learning journey.
Right.
Allowing them to go back
Exactly.
and analyze how they've improved.
Right.
I bet listening back to their early attempts was both a humbling and a motivating experience.
For sure.
But let's talk about the practicalities.
Yeah.
Was this an expensive endeavor?
Right.
Yeah, imagine all those gadgets and smart home integrations could add up.
Well, from a purely financial perspective,
Okay.
they found it surprisingly economical.
Really?
They actually compared the cost of an Echo device to a few sessions with a private tutor.
Yeah.
And they found that Alexa was actually a much more affordable option in the long run.
That makes sense. But what about the time investment?
Right.
I mean, setting up this personalized language learning system
Must have taken some effort.
They did emphasize that initial setup was time-consuming.
Okay.
They spent days researching, experimenting, and tweaking settings to get everything just right.
Yeah.
But they also highlighted that time commitment was a worthwhile investment.
Okay.
They pointed out that with Alexa, they had access to a teacher who was willing to repeat phrases endlessly, answer any question, and never got tired or frustrated.
That's a great point.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of value in having that kind of flexibility and personalized support.
Right.
Especially for busy learners who maybe don't have the time or resources for traditional language classes.
Exactly. And they actually discovered some unexpected benefits.
Okay.
Beyond just language improvement.
Okay.
They found that learning with Alexa allowed them to multitask.
That's great. Right. So they could be practicing English while doing everyday activities like cooking, cleaning, or even exercising.
That's a great way to make learning feel less like a chore.
Exactly.
And more like a natural part of your routine.
They also mentioned the psychological benefits of learning with an AI.
Okay.
There was no judgment.
Right.
No fear of making mistakes in front of others.
Yeah.
Which allowed them to really relax, focus on improving, and be more playful with their learning.
Right.
However, they did acknowledge that there were some social costs to constantly interacting with a device.
Right.
You know, imagine the looks they must have gotten when people overheard them having a full-blown conversation with Alexa in public.
I can definitely picture a few awkward encounters.
All right. But they also mentioned it became a source of entertainment for their friends and family who kind of got invested
in their journey and even started interacting with Alexa themselves.
It sounds like this experiment wasn't just about language learning.
Right.
It was about personal growth.
Right.
Exploring new ways to learn and building a community around a shared passion.
It's a great example of how an unconventional approach can lead to these unexpected benefits and just a more enriching learning experience overall.
Absolutely.
So let's delve into some of the other tools and strategies that they used alongside Alexa to create their personalized language learning ecosystem. It wasn't just about relying solely on Alexa.
Right.
They strategically incorporated other tools and resources to create a more well-rounded and engaging learning experience.
So it was more about building like a personalized language learning toolkit with Alexa as the central hub.
Exactly. They kept a digital diary.
A digital diary.
Using like a note-taking app to jot down new words.
Grammar rules and even those kind of funny moments when Alexa would misinterpret their requests.
I love the thought of capturing those AI mishaps.
Right.
It's like a blooper reel for language learning.
Yeah, totally.
Did they use any other apps to support their learning?
They did. They were quite particular about pronunciation.
Okay.
They didn't want to rely solely on Alexa's feedback.
Right.
So they created what they called a pronunciation pentagon.
A pronunciation pentagon.
Which was essentially 5 different pronunciation apps that they used to cross-reference Alexa's feedback.
Wow.
And kind of get a broader perspective on how they were sounding.
5 apps might seem like overkill.
Yeah.
But when it comes to mastering those tricky sounds, I can see why they'd go the extra mile.
Right.
Did they incorporate any passive listening into their routine?
They were big fans of podcasts.
Okay.
They would listen to English language podcasts during their commute. And then later, they would practice discussing the topics they had heard with Alexa.
That's such a smart strategy.
Right.
It's all about making those connections between those different learning experiences.
Right.
Did they use social media at all in their language learning journey?
They did.
Okay.
In a really clever way.
How so?
They created a dedicated Instagram account to document their Alexa learning adventures.
Oh, wow.
This became this platform to connect with other language learners, share tips, celebrate milestones, and of course have a good laugh about those shared AI misunderstandings.
That's amazing. It highlights how technology can bring people together.
Yeah.
Even in the realm of language learning with these AI assistants.
Right.
But how did they go beyond digital tools?
Yeah.
Did they incorporate anything from the physical world into their learning?
They did. They turned their smartphone camera into a visual vocabulary tool. Whenever they encountered an object that they couldn't describe in English, they would take a picture of it and then practice describing it to Alexa.
That's such a fun and practical idea.
Right.
Did they do anything specific to work on their accent?
They did.
Okay.
They embraced the power of YouTube for accent training.
Oh, wow.
So they would watch videos, mimic different English accents, and then test them out on Alexa.
I can imagine that leading to some pretty amusing interactions with Alexa.
Yeah.
Especially if they tried out a particularly strong regional accent.
Yeah.
But this whole setup was about more than just having fun with Alexa.
Right.
This was about seriously improving their language skills.
Yeah. They were dedicated to tracking their progress and making sure they were actually retaining what they were learning. So they created this echo chamber.
An echo chamber.
Where they would record their conversations with Alexa. And then play them back through another device while taking notes and analyzing their performance.
It's like having a replay feature for their learning journey. Allowing them to identify patterns. Recognize areas for improvement and maybe even have a good laugh at their past mistakes.
They were always on the lookout for those kind of unexpected learning opportunities. They even started incorporating weather apps into their routine.
Weather apps.
Checking the weather in English-speaking countries and then practicing describing those conditions to Alexa.
I never would have thought of using weather apps for language learning.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. It shows that with a little creativity, you can find those opportunities to practice English in even those mundane activities.
Exactly.
Did they use anything else that surprised you?
They weren't afraid to have some fun with their learning. They curated this collection of English language memes. And they used them to reinforce grammar rules and vocabulary in a really lighthearted and memorable way.
Memes are such a powerful tool for learning.
Yeah.
They're relatable, engaging, and often hilarious.
Yeah.
It's great that they embraced humor as part of their learning journey.
Their entire approach really emphasizes how that blend of creativity, technology, and a sense of humor can transform even the most mundane activities into these enriching learning experiences.
Absolutely.
It's inspiring to see how they took ownership of their learning and went beyond those traditional methods and crafted a truly personalized experience.
It's a great reminder that we don't have to be passive recipients of language learning. We can be active creators, experimenting, adapting, finding what works best for us.
Exactly.
But their experiment wasn't just about their own personal journey, was it?
No.
They also had some interesting thoughts about the future of AI language learning and its broader implications.
They did.
So what were some of the specific ideas that they explored?
One of the most intriguing concepts that they discussed was this idea of the AI learning loop.
The AI learning loop.
Yeah.
What is that?
So they envisioned this future where as learners improve, so too will the AI assistants.
That's such a cool concept. Like they're learning partners.
Exactly.
Growing together on this language learning journey.
And they also talked about AI teachers adapting to individual learning styles. So recognizing your strengths, your weaknesses and preferences, and then tailoring the experience to your needs.
That's personalized learning at its finest. It takes the guesswork out of finding the right methods and resources, allowing you to just focus on actually learning the language.
They were particularly excited about the potential for immersive learning scenarios. They already kind of experimented with situation rooms. Using Alexa to simulate real-life situations.
Okay.
Like ordering coffee at a cafe.
Right.
Or rehearsing for a job interview.
I can imagine those simulated job interviews getting pretty intense.
Yeah.
Especially if she started grilling you about your qualifications.
I'm sure there are a few moments where the line between simulation and reality blurred.
Right.
They also envisioned a future where you could have multilingual AI language partners.
Oh, wow.
Facilitating those real language exchange experiences.
Right.
Where you could teach each other phrases and cultural nuances.
It's like having a built-in language buddy.
Yeah.
Always ready to practice and explore new languages together.
Right.
Did they have any thoughts on how AI could foster a sense of community among language learners?
They envisioned these social learning networks that are centered around AI teachers.
Oh, wow.
Where learners could connect, share tips, and even compete.
Oh, wow.
In virtual language Olympics.
I can already picture those virtual language Olympics.
Right.
But their vision went beyond just casual language learning, didn't it?
It did.
They saw potential for AI to really support professional development.
They talked about the possibility of having specialized language tracks for different professions.
Okay.
So imagine AI tutors that are tailored to the specific vocabulary and communication styles of doctors, lawyers, engineers, even chefs.
That would be an invaluable resource for anyone looking to advance in their career.
Right.
Or maybe work in an international setting.
Exactly.
Do they have any other thoughts about how AI language learning might integrate into our daily lives?
They envision a future where AI language learning seamlessly integrates with our daily routines.
Right.
Offering these reminders, suggestions, and practice opportunities based on our schedules and activities.
That's a great way to make language learning feel less like an extra task.
Exactly.
And more like a natural part of your day.
They even explored the possibility of integrating AI language learning with virtual reality.
Oh, wow.
Creating these immersive experiences where learners could practice in these realistic virtual environments.
That sounds incredible. It takes language learning beyond textbooks and apps.
Right.
But as AI technology advances, did they think that these AI language teachers would remain purely functional?
Right.
Or did they see them evolving in other ways?
They anticipated AI language teachers becoming more emotionally intelligent, able to detect frustration, offer encouragement, and even inject a little bit of humor into the learning process.
It's like having a language learning companion that understands your emotional state and adjusts its approach to keep you motivated and engaged.
Their vision for the future of AI language learning is full of these exciting possibilities. Like, it's this future where technology empowers learners, personalizes the experience, and just makes language acquisition more accessible, engaging, and maybe even a little bit more hilarious along the way. Sounds like we're on the verge of this major shift in how we approach language learning. And this experiment with Alexa kind of opens up this whole world of possibilities.
It does.
It suggests that AI has this potential to democratize access to these personalized and engaging learning experiences and make language acquisition more accessible and enjoyable for everyone.
It's empowering to think that technology can help us break free
right.
from the limitations of those traditional language learning methods.
Exactly.
Like imagine no more rigid schedules,
yeah.
intimidating classrooms,
right.
or the fear of making mistakes in front of others. Yeah. Like learning a new language
yeah.
could become a much more individualized and flexible journey.
AI language learning
yeah.
could offer this level of personalization and affordability that just wasn't possible before.
But it's important to remember that AI is a tool, not a replacement
right.
for everything we value about human interaction.
While AI assistants like Alexa can provide personalized feedback, repetition,
right.
and access to a wealth of information,
yeah.
they can't fully replicate
right.
that nuanced understanding, those cultural insights, and emotional connection
right.
that a human teacher can offer.
It's all about finding the right balance.
Exactly.
Leveraging the strengths of both AI and human interaction.
Right.
to create a truly holistic and effective learning experience.
And this experiment with Alexa highlights how important it is to be open to these unconventional approaches and kind of challenging that status quo.
This deep dive has shown that with a little creativity, a touch of humor, and a willingness to experiment, we can transform those everyday technologies into powerful tools for personal growth and language acquisition.
Their story is a reminder that language learning is this ongoing adventure.
Absolutely.
It encourages us to embrace the unexpected, try new things, and most importantly, have fun along the way.
What are your thoughts? Have you ever tried using technology in kind of an unconventional way to learn something new?
We'd love to hear about your experiences, share your thoughts, creative ideas, and any unconventional learning hacks you've discovered in the comments below.
And remember, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support.
We do.
And we'll see you in the next episode.